is the Honorable Geraldine Roman.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Magandang gabi po sa ating Vice President. I just want to express a little bit of my disappointment and frustration kasi I really wanted to be enlightened regarding specific programs, in particular, those very, very creative programs, which is actually my favorite, yung Magnegosyo Taday, no? Which will benefit a lot of women, which is part of my advocacies, as well as the LGBT community. But I guess our Honorable Vice President will just give me the same answer. So let me just manifest my disappointment. Parang pumasok po ako sa meeting na to na may katanungan pero lalabas po ako ng kasagutan and even more questions. I feel compelled to express my deep sense of regret over the way our discussions have unfolded today. Sayang ang pagkakataon. This hearing was supposed to be a crucial forum for us to ensure that the public funds are allocated wisely and effectively, no? However, instead of gaining clarity and insights needed to make informed decisions, we find ourselves caught in a cycle of verbal disputes and personal attacks. And I'm just pointing at one side only, it may be both sides, possibly, and also formula answers, scripted answers, and even insinuations that we are following a script. Napakadali lang naman pong sumagot. Bakit kinakailangan pa nating hold us in doubt and keep us in the dark? So, given the lack of substantive answers provided us, I'm left with concerns on how we, as members of the Congress, can make an informed decision regarding the budget of the Office of the Vice President and how we can follow our mandate if there is an apparent lack of cooperation. Because to say that there is an answer, which is not really an answer because it does not shed light, it does not give clarity, it does not address the specific concerns. We may question, in fact, certain issues of whether it is valid to discuss the confidential funds or not. But how about our questions? Katulad ng questions ni Representative Garin. Those are valid questions. I think dapat they merit also an answer. So hindi ko na po pagpapatuloy ang aking pagtatanong eh. Ano naman po ang magiging sagot? Sana po nagkaroon tayo ng clarity. That is my sincere wish talaga. Just clarity. Especially dun sa mga budget items ng 2025 na sa una ay willing naman ng Office Vice President to answer and so graciously, no? Pilit kong inuunawa, baka naman physically exhausted ng ating resource person. I could hear that her voice is already namamaos, ano? But alam ko malakas naman siyang tao, malakas siyang babae with great resistance. So, nanghinayang po ako sa pagkakataon na ito. With that, Madam Chair, I leave it also to this committee. How to figure out, how can we come up with an informed decision with this kind of formula answer? Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Salamat. Next is the Honorable Jude Asidre.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, good evening, Madam Vice President. I will be asking questions about the 2025 budget. Given the esteemed position of the Office of the Vice President, could the Honorable Vice President kindly enlighten this committee on how the proposed budget reflects the core mandate of the Office of the Vice President? We are sincerely eager to understand how these resources will be used to fulfill the critical responsibilities, particularly the constitutional mandate of the Vice President. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 by question and answer. I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented. You can find all the answers in the audiovisual presentation, in our submission of documents to the Secretariat, in the PowerPoint presentation, and in the opening statement. I will leave it to the House to decide on the proposal.
Madam Chair, with the significant budget being requested by the Office of the Vice President, this committee is, I believe, keen to hear about the tangible successes by the OVP's programs thus far. Will this budget ensure that such commendable progress continues? I'm referring to the budget requested for 2025.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, I believe we are all familiar with the constitutional mandate of the Vice President, and that's why we'd want to know if the Honorable Vice President could clarify how the proposed budget allocation and the programs that it supports are aligned with this constitutional mandate of the Vice President. Because we're confident that the budget is a perfect reflection of the Vice President's priorities and the office's essential duties.
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, the answers are in the AVP presentation, the opening statement, the documents that we submitted to the Secretariat, and the PowerPoint presentation. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, in the spirit of collaboration, could the Vice President also share how the OVP works with other agencies to avoid duplication and ensure the efficient use of public funds? We trust that the budget is also a reflection of such strategic coordination.
Vice President.
Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, considering the careful thought that must have gone into crafting the budget of the OVP, would the Vice President explain the rationale behind specific allocations? We are particularly interested in how these figures, especially the amounts, were arrived at, considering that the Vice President has a national mandate, and how it was computed so as to translate into meaningful outcomes for the public. Madam Chair.
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer, and I will leave it to the House of Representatives to decide on the proposal as presented.
Madam Chair, the Honorable Vice President has repeatedly mentioned that she will forgo the right to personally defend the budget through a question and answer format. How should this committee interpret such a decision? Would it be fair to conclude, Madam Chair, that the programs under the OVP may not be as high a priority or as important as we had hoped for? Or should we interpret the response and the demeanor of the Vice President indicates that we, the elected representatives of the people, and the people that we represent do not deserve an explanation on how public funds would be spent by their office, Madam Chair?
Madam Vice President.
Yes, Madam Chair, all the answers are in the audiovisual presentation, the documents that we submitted to the committee secretariat, the opening statement, and the PowerPoint presentation. I did not say forgo the right, I said forgo the opportunity to defend.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, because I think it's not our right to explain our budget. It's our duty to explain our budget. That's all, Madam Chair, and this I would have to say, I leave it to the committee to consider the responses of our Honorable Vice President in the approval of the budget of the OVP.
Salamat. Before we move to round two, just a short manifestation on my part with a kind indulgence of my colleagues. Kanina po nabanggit ang pangalan ko kasama ni Kong Franz nung meron pong nagtanong kung bakit may 125 million para sa fourth quarter taong 2023 na hindi po ginamit ng ating pangalawang Pangulo, nabanggit ang pangalan ko. I believe ang sinabi po ni Madam Vice President is that tila may lumalabas na po na pattern simula nung araw na nagsagutan po kami sa plenaryo na lumabas po na 11 days lamang ang period na kung saan ginamit po ang pondo amounting to 125 million. I just want to state for the record that that was in no way planned action on my part. That was the most difficult moment in my 5 years in Congress. Tinanong ako ng isang tanong, I just had to say the truth. Nakabase sa liquidation report at kitang-kita nyo naman doon po sa nakakita na po ng notice of disallowance na ginamit po siya from December 21 to 31 at pagbilangin po natin ang mga araw na yan mula 21 hanggang 31 ay indeed 11 days. So yun lang po, I just want to state that on record that on my part, simula nung moment na yon ay naging napakahirap ng buhay ko. No rational human being would ever want to plan her life that way. So there's absolutely no way that that can be planned on my part, just for the record. And so with that, I move